Hello again. We're going to start by coming down onto the side, roll onto your back, and then bring the heels just a little way away from your bottom with your heels lined up with your hip bones. We're going to take a breath in here, and then as you breathe out, feel the air just flooding out of your body. Another breath in, this time through your nose. Begin to feel the size of the rib cage swelling, expanding. And as you breathe out, allow your lips to just relax. Allow the breath to just flow gently and easily from you. This time as you breathe in, your arms float up and over the shoulders, pointing your fingers to the ceiling. Your palms can face your thighs. And as you breathe out, slowly lower the arms behind the head until the knuckles just hover off the floor. Can you feel how your rib cage is wanting to lift away from the ground? So this time breathe in, point the fingers back towards the ceiling, and as you breathe out, feel the back of the bra strap gently pulling you down into the floor, and then breathe out again, reach the arms behind the shoulders, and this time feel how the diaphragm, the muscles between the ribs and even the tummy muscles begin to support the weight of the arms. Breathe in as the arms come back up over the shoulders, and just one more time, breathe out, let the arms float back down to the ground. So now we can circle the arms back down to where they started, by your side, this time with your palms facing up, your shoulders unshrugged from the ears. We'll take another deep, slow breath in through the nose, expanding the sides and this time the back of the rib cage. As you breathe out, we can begin to rock the pelvis back, almost as though you have a bowl of water sitting on your pubic bone, just here, and you're tipping the water gently into your belly button. And as you breathe in, let the water bowl go back to neutral. And as you breathe out, just twice more, gently rolling the pelvis back, feeling the pelvic floor begin to engage and the tummy muscles slowly, gently switching on. Feel as though the hip bones are drawing closer towards one another. Breath in as you let the bowl go back to neutral. And breath out one more time, this time pouring just a little bit more water into the bowl, into the belly button. The hip bones begin to look towards your face. The tailbone gently peels away from the floor, and now we can feel the sacrum and the spine begin to lift gently away from the ground, bone by bone, taking as many breaths as you need to and never holding your breath, until eventually you can feel your weight just balancing on the shoulder blades. We're going to stay just here. Another breath in through your nose, and as you breathe out, feel the front of the rib cage pulling together. The bra strap pulls back down into the floor, and now we can feel each vertebra just gently connecting to the mat. You can feel the tailbone is tucked under, reaching away from the rest of the spine and lengthening the lower spine. As you breathe in now, take your water bowl back to its neutral. And as you breathe out, we go again into our full bridge. So have a little think about the position of your knees at the moment. We want to make sure the knees aren't falling out to the sides. You should feel a little bit of activity on the inner thigh muscles. Feel how they connect into the pelvic floor and almost into the tummy muscles. Take a breath in as you get to the top now, and a breath out as we slowly drip the spine back down into the mat. Feel how your pelvic floor is gently pulling the tailbone forward, lengthening the low spine, creating a deep curve, until eventually we release and let the pelvis just drop into the floor. Everything relaxes. So take a breath in. This time as you breathe out, let's pour some water out of the bowl and onto the left side of your mat. It's tempting to let the knees wave over to the left as well, but we're going to keep them level, so it's just your pelvis moving. Take a breath in as the hips come back to the center, and a breath out as this time we pour water over to the right side of the mat. All the time taking care not to flare the rib cage, not to arch the neck. And now that we've finished doing our bridge work, if you need to put a pillow or a book underneath the back of your head just to lift the head and stop any arching of the neck, that's fine. And we're just going to take this one more time to the right hand side, and a breath out. So now let's join those two movements together. From the right side, let's pour water between the legs this time and onto the mat in front of you. You can breathe in here and breathe out as you now pour water to the left side of the mat, circling the pelvis on the mat. Pouring water into the belly button to finish that exhale. And a breath in as we pour to the right, between the legs. A breath out to the left and to the belly button. One more time this way. And a breath out to circle your way back. So now let's reverse the circle. A breath in as you pour the water to the left, onto the floor. And a breath out to the right, and to the belly button. So as you're breathing, still thinking about that breath entering the body gently, smoothly. Still thinking about the breath exiting the body with an easy flow of air, with soft lips and no tension in the face. And we've just got one more circle to do here. Perfect. So from here, let's walk the feet and the knees together. We'll open up the arms a little bit wider than the mat to give you a nice stable base. The feet are glued together, so now as we exhale and tip the knees over to the right hand side, the left foot leaves the mat. The knees stay side by side, and you can exhale every drop of air out of the body and just hold it here for a moment. And now as you breathe in, the knees come back to the center. The left foot plants back onto the floor, and as you breathe out, the knees move to the right. The right foot leaves the mat now. And again, finish that breath out. Let's come back to the center. Now, if that felt like enough for you and you just want to work nice and easily today, leave your feet on the floor and carry on. If you feel like you want to try something a little bit more challenging, float both knees up and over the hips. We'll take a breath out as the knees go to the right. This time our gaze goes to the left. A breath in as the knees come back to the center, and you can look to the sky. And a breath out as the knees go to the left and your gaze goes to the right. Feeling a lovely, gentle twist into the spine. Releasing a little bit more tension with every single movement. So all the while you're doing this, try to feel the shoulder blades, the back of the bra strap, pulling down into the floor, securing the rib cage and working the diaphragm with each exhale. Try to feel a little bit of energy on the fronts of the thighs, on the quads, keeping those feet floating away from the bottom. And we'll make this next one the last. So now let's bring the knees and the gaze back to the center. Reach for your knees and bring them in towards your chest. Give the lower spine a little bit of a rock from side to side and just release any tension that you might have built up there. We're going to let the right leg now lengthen down onto the floor while we keep hold of the left leg. Tighten the bottom on the right hand side and just feel how that helps to release the hip flexors. And then we'll change. Breathe out as you lengthen that left leg away. And gently tighten the bottom. Great. So the left knee can again bend in towards your chest. We'll bring both feet one by one down to the floor. Hands can rest down by your sides, palms either up or down, whichever feels most comfortable, preferably up if you can. And now we'll float the left knee up and over the left hip. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, just begin to lower the toe down towards the floor, as though you're dipping your foot into a bowl of water just in front of you. And as you breathe in, we'll bring the knee back over the hip. See how that felt. If it felt like it was a little bit too easy, we could float the right knee up over the hip as well. And again, exhale, the left toe slowly comes down to the floor, the knee moving away from the center as well. And the bend in the knee is going to stay the same all the way through this. We're not going to be bending and straightening the leg at all. A breath out, the left toe comes down again. As we get further into this move, you're going to feel that your neck wants to arch, that your rib cage wants to flare open. So each time you exhale, feel how the diaphragm closes, pulling the ribs closed. The chin can nod a little to the chest if you need to. Coming up for our last one on the left side. A breath out, left toe dips down into the little bowl there. And now we can leave the foot on the floor. Let's test the right side. Take a breath in. And a breath out as the right toe lowers down to its bowl. That's going to feel slightly different on each side. So if you feel like you want to go easier on one side than the other, that's absolutely fine. If now you know you want to lift the left leg, you can. And we'll carry on. Breath out, right foot comes down. A breath in as it comes back to where it started. Feel how the thigh bone almost drops into the hip socket here. A breath out as the leg comes away, making sure that the knee doesn't bend any more or any less throughout the move. Double check your ribs, your neck. Make sure that everything feels lovely and stable and still. And if you can't keep yourself stable with the legs in the air, then you know it's time to go back to the easier version and just start there, building up your strength each time you do this video. Coming up for the last one on the right now. Lovely. So now we'll leave the right foot on the floor. We'll lift the left knee into the air. Take a breath in with me now, and we can open the arms a little bit wider if you want to. As you breathe out, we're going to circle the left knee away from the center of the body. And this circle is just going to be really small, just about the size of a side plate. As you breathe in, the knee comes over the center of the body. And as you breathe out, we can circle away again. And we're going to keep that lower leg, the shin and the foot, so stable that you could almost balance a tray of drinks on the shin. Now we can begin to make our circles a little bit wider. Breath out as the circle goes out to the left side, and a breath in as you bring it back almost to touch the right knee. Last time like this. We're ready to reverse. Again, breath out, circle the knee out to the left. Breath in as the leg comes over the body. Begin to think about what the right leg is doing. We want to keep the right leg nice and still. Make sure the right knee hasn't drifted away from its center point. And we want to make sure that this circle on the left leg is the same speed all the way around, every single time. The speed will match your breathing pattern, so we want a full exhale to circle out to the side, and a full in-breath to bring the knee back to the center each time. Well done. So now the left foot can float down to the floor. The right knee floats up and over the hip. We'll take a lovely breath in to prepare, and then breath out as the knee begins to circle out to its side to the right. Breath in as you bring the knee back to the center line of the body. Already getting a sense of stability through that left side, using that left side to keep the body nice and still. So you might even feel a little activity in the glutes, in the hamstrings and the calves. Your breath is soft and easy. The lips are soft. The muscles around your eyes are relaxed, and your forehead is nice and smooth. Last one now before we change direction. And we're ready. Breath out, circle to the right. The knee comes over the body. The left knee still nice and still. You can add a little pressure through the upper arms and into the floor just to help you with that stability. We've just got 2 more to do. And now as we finish our last circle, the foot can float down to the floor. We can roll onto the side, facing each other. There again. And we'll come up onto the elbow. So the knees are going to be bent at about 45 degrees. And then we're going to bring the knees back just as far as you can before you feel the back arching. Now that you're here, we can just tuck the tailbone under, feel the bottom switch on. The heels are glued together. The top hand is just going to slide behind your head. And now we're going to lift the rib cage away from the floor and feel a little bit of energy in the lower side of the waist. Take a breath in with me now. And as we breathe out, the top knee is going to float away from the lower knee, opening up the knees just like a clamshell. And as you breathe in, bring the knee back down, making sure that the waist doesn't sag towards the floor. Breath out as the knee floats up. And if it feels a little uncomfortable to hold your elbow up, your arm up into the air like this, feel free to just rest your hand down on the floor in front of you. We're going to make sure that the lower shoulder isn't shrugged at all towards the ears. And a breath in as the knee comes down. Last time, just like this. Well done, and bring it all the way down. Good. The top hand can come down onto the floor ahead of you. We're going to use the top hand to begin with, just to make sure that this feels okay for you. We'll take a breath in to prepare now. And as you breathe out, we're going to pull the rib cage towards the hip and then lift the hips away from the ground, looking just underneath the shoulder before we breathe in and come back down to rest. If that felt easy for you, let's bring the arm up and over the shoulder. Take a breath in and take a breath out as this time you lift the hips but reach the top arm over towards the mat. And a breath in as you come back down to rest. The top hand can float down towards the leg. A breath out, rib cage pulls towards the hip, top arm floats over as though you're drawing a rainbow in the air. See if you can touch the mat on the other side of the shoulder. Breath in as you come back down. And last one, just like this. So now, can we leave the hips in the air? Can we lift the arm into the air? Take a breath in, and then a breath out as you thread the arm through the space that you've left, and breathe in as you come back. And we'll just do this twice more. As you thread the arm through, the hips lift a little bit higher. Feel a stretch between the shoulder blades. And last time like this, your deepest reach yet. Well done. So now we'll bring the hip back down to rest. We'll slide the arm away and rest the head on the upper arm. The top toes can turn up. We'll take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, begin to circle the top leg as though you're drawing a circle at the end of your mat. As you breathe in, we begin to finish that circle, bringing the leg all the way down behind the body, tucking the tailbone under so that we don't arch the spine, using our tummy muscles to stabilize the spine. So we're using our tummy muscles to hold the spine in its neutral position. All the way down we go, feeling some activity on the outer thigh, the glutes, the tummy, the low back. If it's a little bit uncomfortable for you to lie like this, feel free to put a pillow underneath your head instead and just let your lower arm reach out ahead of you. This will be the last circle in this direction. And a breath in as the leg comes back. And let's reverse. Breath out, circle the leg behind you, still turning the toes slightly up towards the ceiling, keeping a nice open hip. Breathe in as the leg comes down. Breath out, circling behind you, feeling more work through the glutes in this direction. And breath in as we bring it down. Breath out, the tail tucks under, the tummy muscles activate. Feel as though you're drawing your belly button towards your spine as you bring the leg back. And then a breath in as you come down, last one here. And breath out, circling all the way up and over, and slowly bring the leg down to rest. Perfect. So, we're going to bring the top leg and stretch it out ahead of you. Float the foot off the floor, and now try and stick your bottom out so you feel a little stretch through the back of the leg. The ankle is going to flex here, and then the toe will point. We'll try that again. The ankle flexes. This time we're going to kick the foot forward just once, then point the toe and swing the leg back until it slides behind the body, the tail tucks under, the glutes activate. You can feel the lower spine remains nice and neutral. Now flex your ankle. Kick the foot forward. Feel that stretch on the back of the leg. Try and keep the foot level with the hip all the time. So glute medius up here is doing its work to hold the leg stable. This time we're going to add 2 kicks. 1, 2. Feel that lovely stretch through the back of the leg. We'll add 2 swings back. 1, 2, and feel that work into the glutes. The last one coming up. 1, 2, and point the toe. Use the calf to pull the heel towards the back of the knee, and 1, 2, we're done. So we'll come up from here, change sides. And now we'll start again on this side. So the elbow is underneath the shoulder. The knees are bent about 45 degrees, and we're going to swing the knees back just a little bit. Make sure that your lower back isn't arched and uncomfortable. The top hand can start just fitting behind the head, and we'll squeeze the heels together gently. Lift the waist away from the ground and take a breath in with me now. As you breathe out, the top knee lifts away from its friend. Try to make sure that the top hip doesn't roll back when you do this, so you feel a little bit of work in the glutes, and now breathe in as the knee comes down. A few more like this. So each time you lift, your waist will want to drop down towards the floor, your spine will want to curve, but we want to try and keep the spine nice and stable, and that's why we're using this breath out now as we lift the knee, because we can use that breath out to help us to engage the tummy muscles, and actually also the very, very deep muscles inside and around the spine. And a breath out again as you lift. Make sure your shoulder doesn't shrug towards your ear. Keep a nice space between your ear and your shoulder, and a nice strong feeling through the shoulder itself. Last one like this. Breathe in, the knee comes down. And now so does the hand. Just rest the hand on the floor. We'll see how our side bend feels on this side. Make sure the shoulder is stable enough to hold us. Take a breath in first, and a breath out as the waist closes, the hip pulls towards the ribs and the ribs towards the hip, and you can look underneath your shoulder. Take a breath in as the hip comes back down to the ground. This top arm, if it feels comfortable, can reach over the shoulder now, and breathe out as you lift the waist again, reaching the top arm over to the other side of the mat. A breath in as you lower the hips, the arm draws its rainbow in the air, and the hand comes down towards the knee. A breath out, up we go again. The waist gets a little bit smaller each time, and a breath in as we come back. Last one like this. So this time we're lifting. We're going to hold ourselves in this up position. Bring the arm back over the shoulder. Look up towards the fingers. Take a breath in. And then a breath out as we thread the arm through the space, lifting the waist that little bit higher. Breath in as you lift the arm again. Breath out, threading through, threading the needle. Breath in as you lift the arm. And last time here, reaching further and further. Well done. So now the hips can rest down on the ground. We can slide the arm out and rest the head on the upper arm if that feels good. So now we'll lengthen the leg, turn the toe up towards the ceiling, make sure the top hip doesn't roll back on you, glutes are nicely engaged, and we can begin to circle the leg forward. We'll breathe out as the leg lifts away from the floor. drawing your circle at the end of the mat, and a breath in as you circle the leg back down towards earth. Think about lengthening the leg, reaching the leg out of the hip. Try to feel the glutes working. Try to feel how the spine doesn't arch as you bring the leg back. You're going to use the tummy muscles to prevent the spine arching just like you did last time. Let's try one more circle here. Still turning the toe and the knee up slightly towards the ceiling. And now we can reverse. A breath out. The tummy muscles engage, the leg starts to swing back, lifts, and then a perfect circle all the way around as you breathe in and bring the leg back down. It's tempting to speed up on the difficult bits, but I really want you to try and keep the speed exactly the same all the way through. Lovely controlled work. Feeling every single muscle in the leg switching on at some point during this circle. You've got one more to go. Well done. So now bring the leg down. We'll swing the leg forward. Stick your bottom out. Feel that stretch through the hamstrings and the top of the thigh. And now lift the leg away from the floor. Try flexing your ankle, pulling the toe towards the knee. Try pointing your toe. This time we'll flex the ankle and swing the leg forward, feel a bit more of a stretch. Point the toe, begin to slide the leg back. The tailbone tucks under now. We're going to reach the leg just behind the body. We can breathe in as we swing the leg forward. Feel that gentle stretch. Try not to let your tail tuck under too much here. We're going to keep the pelvis lovely and stable and still. And a breath out as you reach the leg back, pulling the belly button in towards the spine. Shall we add a double kick here now? 1, 2, an extra little stretch. And then a double swing back. 1, 2, switching the glutes on twice. And one more like this. 1, 2. And 1, 2. Well done. So, let's come up onto our hands and knees now. The knees are going to rest underneath the hips. The hands will be underneath the shoulders. And we're going to gently pull the bra strap towards the ceiling. Not so much that we arch the spine, but just enough that the spine's nice and neutral. We'll take a breath in now. And as you breathe out, float your right hand away from the floor. Just enough that you could slide a newspaper underneath. And then a breath in as you bring the hand down. Now as you breathe out, see if you can float the left knee away from the floor. Again, just a little way. And a breath in as you bring it down. Let's try both the hand and the knee. A breath out, right hand and left knee float away from the floor. We'll hold it here. A breath out, right arm and left leg stretch away from each other. And a breath in as they come back. Now we're not going to rest the knee and the hand, we're going to reach away again, straight away. Breath out as you lengthen. Again, making sure that the tummy muscles switch on so that we don't arch the spine when the leg reaches back. We've got one more to go. Well done. So the hand and the knee can come back to exactly where they left. Have a little wiggle, get rid of any tension you've created. We'll take a breath in now. And a breath out. Let's float the left hand away from the floor. And a breath in as it comes down. A breath out, the right knee away from the floor. And a breath in as it comes down. And we're ready to float both hand and knee away from the ground now. Breath out. Feel the bra strap pulling up just a little bit so we don't arch the back. And another breath out as we stretch the arm and leg away from each other, trying to keep the rest of the body perfectly still and balanced. The hand and knee come back and they remain floating off the floor. We'll reach away twice more. And here's our last one. Well done. The hand and the knee are going to come down to rest now. I want you to make a fist with each hand and push your rings into the ground. Then we can sit our hips back towards our heels and gently roll the index knuckles into the floor, all the way out to the little finger knuckles, and then back again. We can tuck the tail between the legs, let the hands unfold as we begin to rebuild the spine, bone by bone, rolling all the way up to kneeling. So lift the hips from the heels. Let's step the right foot forward, quite far forward so that the foot is in front of the knee. And now we're going to grow lovely and tall. Switch on the left bottom cheek, and then let's push the hips towards the heel in front of you. Feel a lovely stretch all the way through the hip flexors. The left arm now can reach up and over the shoulder, and you can take a breath out as you reach over to the right. Feel that stretch developing deep within the abdomen. The hand can float back down, and now we'll reach both hands forward on the mat so that both hands are on the inside of the right foot, and then again drop the hips forward. If it feels good, you can let the right knee just fall out to the side a little bit and show yourself the sole of your right foot. If you feel any pain doing this, then please don't. So then we'll bring the knee back to where it was. Walk the hands back towards the back leg and let the front leg straighten. Let the ankle flex. Feel that stretch all the way through the back of the leg. Well done. Come all the way back to where you started. We can bring the right knee down to the floor. Step the left foot forward this time. And again, the foot will be just in front of the knee. Grow nice and tall. The tail tucks under. If this gives you enough of a stretch just here, then that's fine. You can just continue just as you are. The right bottom cheek will engage and tighten, and now we'll start to press the hips forward towards the front heel. The right arm comes up and over the shoulder. Take a breath in, and then a breath out as you reach over to your left. Feel that stretch getting a little bit deeper. And again, we can grow tall. The hands reach the inside of the left foot this time, and if it feels good, the left knee can fall out to the side, and have a look at your left sole. The knee comes back to the center. Begin to walk the hands back towards the right knee, gently lengthening that left leg. Let the ankle flex. Well done. So now, let's bring the knees side by side. The hands can walk forward a touch. We can tuck the toes under, lift the hips into the air, and let the heels just drop into the floor beneath us. Bend one knee while the other heel presses down into the ground, and then switch, and switch again, and one more time. Both knees drift down towards the ground. The toes can untuck. Sit your hips back towards your heels. And you're done.